Hello, everybody. This is Coach Eby, and welcome to Relaxed and Fast, where each Wednesday we dive into a wide variety of topics to help you become a better runner and person, where we try to give you a behind-the-scenes look into our program, our philosophies, and more specifics on how we develop our student athletes, and give you ideas on how to grow your routines and improve as a runner and a person. We appreciate you listening in and hope you enjoy this episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Relaxed and Fast. I will actually be away at camp this week, and so I'm recording this a little sooner. That doesn't really make any difference to you, but we are going to do our core values. So this one will probably be a little bit shorter as well. I tried to break up a lot of these into short little bite-sized pieces because we usually throw a lot of information at them while we're at camp. But anyways, to get started, vision statement. As an active member of our program, the student athlete will be looked at differently and held to a higher standard than the average student on campus. The hard work and life lessons gained as a member of the program will better prepare them for life after college. Our goal is to make the student athlete a better person, friend, future spouse, and yellow jacket for life. Mission statement: to create an atmosphere and environment for all student athletes to be successful as people. Their involvement in the program will help them be more successful in life. To provide academic support for each student athlete to become successful students and earn their degrees. To help each student athlete reach their full athletic potential and have the opportunity to win or compete for championships. To help each student athlete launch their career so that when they leave Baldwin-Wallace, they can use all the resources our institution has to get the best opportunities in life. And so obviously we're always trying to create a really good atmosphere, and environment for our student athletes. Um, and one of my big things, I always feel that collegiate athletics is supposed to help you become a better human being. And so I think the life skills that you can learn through being a collegiate athlete, and especially one on our team in our program, um, help you become more successful in life. The life skills that you can learn become really, really important. Our academic support people do a really good job. We have a really good relationship with them. And so having those resources and having tie-ins with all of that and helping guide our student athletes, one of the questions we get asked a lot is you know, how does your team do academically? And we have over a 3.6 average for our cross country team, and I think we're at like a 3.2 or 3.3 for the full track team on both sides. And so I feel like they do a really good job in the classroom. Um, we're always trying to leave no stone unturned in terms of helping them reach their full athletic potential and trying to provide as many resources as we can and give them the guidance to um, have the opportunities to be as good as they can possibly be in the sports that we compete in. And then once again, we have an unbelievable career services, and I think a lot of it are individual meetings that we have with our athletes are not just about athletics. Um, Most of the time they're not. And so talking about internships and what internships they're trying to get and helping them by writing recommendation letters and encouraging them to apply and talk to their advisors and other students on the team and that kind of stuff to help kind of prepare and launch their careers. Honesty and respect, treat others with respect, no stealing drugs or weapons. So these are our major core values. We don't have rules on our team per se. Just treating others with respect, being a kind human being, knowing the difference between right and wrong becomes way more important. And trying to help teach them what those core values mean and what that looks like and trying to model some of that behavior as well. D3 championships hierarchy. So faith, family, academics, athletics, and then everything else. This can get into, um, you have your your social, your school, your sport, and sleep as well, and only really having time for three of those. And so making sure that you're picking and choosing um, what is important to you and how to kind of line things up and making sure that you keep the main thing the main thing. Our team motto is Team Family Pride. So we our staff coaches both genders, so we have men's program and a women's program, but we are one team. We travel together, we work out together, we do everything together. And so not only do we want the men's and women's groups to get along, but we also want the sprinters, jumpers, throwers, distance, everybody on the team, the different event areas to also get along and care about each other and so on and so forth. We've had instances, our women's cross country team made the national meet a couple of years ago and for a couple of years. And we had a large group of track and field athletes travel to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and uh, Louisville, Kentucky to watch our women's cross country team compete. And we had, a national caliber thrower was one of the male thrower was one of the guys that was kind of leading the charge and organizing groups and, driving people down and they were sharing hotels and doing all that kind of stuff. And so, that's a really big, that's kind of one of the most important, poignant stories, I think that I have for that. But really trying to build that camaraderie um, is really important for our program. Family, just taking care of each other, becoming your family away from home. We have a lot of kids on the team that are from really far away. We've had kids from Washington and Nebraska and Montana and Arizona. Georgia and all over the place. And so having that family atmosphere and it even extends out. We've had athletes that are from Nebraska and Montana that go home with their roommates or teammates for Thanksgiving and Easter and spend some of those shorter holidays because they don't have the means to travel back every single little break that they have. And so I think that just speaks to the character of the team and the type of athletes that we have. And then the pride piece, taking pride in everything that you do, um, paying it forward a little bit. If you go get an internship and you do a really good job, that's going to make the next generation behind you. It's going to make it a little bit easier for them to be able to go and apply for that same internship and get those internships. And then same thing with getting a job and doing a really good job at your job and so on and so forth. And so we actually give out buttons. This is the football teams always do the stickers on their helmets, and I was trying to think of a way that we could kind of reward our athletes with something similar. And I am very into concerts, and I'm very into punk music, especially. And I would go to these concerts, and these people would have, their uh, jean vests on, and they would have all these little buttons all over it. And I kind of thought that would be a cool way to do it. And so we actually have a T button that you can get if you have a good performance at a meet, an F button if you do something for another member of the team, or do something that is essentially taking care of somebody else or doing something that's above and beyond. And then a pride button if you get accepted to grad school or get an internship or whatever, you can get a P button. And then we have a couple of other buttons, star buttons if you're conference athlete of the week. Um, or you set a school record or you're an All-American. And then we have different colored buttons for the different levels as well. So a brown button is our regular every week button. A white button is our conference buttons, and then a gold button is for a national championships. And so, those are some of the ways that we um, try to promote that and kind of keep the TFP uh, going. So, how to earn a letter, run in the team's top seven at any of the regular season meets, or be part of the NCAA travel roster. Sometimes we'll travel eight, sometimes we'll travel nine. For the track season, since I don't have that on here, scoring 10 points total throughout the season. And so we try to do a pretty good job of giving opportunities for athletes to earn some of those letters and running in different meets and that those types of things and taking advantage of the opportunities that we get can be really, really important for that. Once again, coming back to, I believe that my most important job that I have, I can get people to run fast. I view my job as helping produce productive members of society and helping teach them life lessons. And so, helping our scholar athletes become sovereign human beings, become experts in their field, and honestly understand the running aspect a little bit better. Running can be a lifelong endeavor, and so understanding the principles of training and um, having significance in everything that you do, being on time, working hard, being part of a team, understanding what that means, what that looks like, how to be a positive team member, and so on and so forth. And so those are some big topics that we'll talk about here coming up pretty soon. So, from the athletic side, what is important? To me, trying to reach the national meet and compete at as high of a level as we can and trying to be as successful as we can at the conference level as well. And so, how how do I see us going about doing that? And so I love the Thomas Edison quote, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. Especially in the society we live in today, hard work is not valued at a very high level. You see it a lot of places that you go. Everybody's trying to get by doing the bare minimum, and that's just not how our sport works. And so, trying to put on our hard hats and go to work every single day, learning the discipline of having to show up and do the thing whether you feel good or not, I think is just a really important skill to learn and one that I try to model as best as I can. But it's something that I think will serve our athletes well in the future. Another one of my big things is you're like the five people you surround yourself with the most. And so do you like what you see? And there's all sorts of research out there on this. But the reality is that even sitting close to high performers can help increase performance by 15%. And sitting close to low performers decreases your performance by 30%. And so the reality is who are you surrounding yourself with? What type of choices are they making? Are they aligned with who you want to be and who you want to become? And really taking a good hard look at that and choosing your friends wisely. Um, in the age of Instagram and Strava and so on and so forth, it becomes it's becoming harder and harder to just focus on us and focus on our task at hand and doing what we need to do to try to become the best that we can be, and then just going and performing at the highest level that we can, and just letting the chips fall where they may. But ultimately, I don't really care what other teams are doing. I definitely don't want our team to worry about it. We have a system, we have a method, we have a culture that we're trying to build. Yeah, we can pick up little things here and there, but ultimately we have to try to work our system and our culture. And so focusing on ourselves, making ourselves the best that we can be, and then just trying to compete to the level that we're capable of. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And so trying to think through what are you trying to achieve and what are some things that you left on the table the last season. What are some ways that you can clean things up to to get better? Does that mean just running more mileage or putting in more total time for the week? Does it mean honing in on your nutrition? Does it mean getting a better sleep cycle or routine? Does it mean building a better academic routine and study routine? And so making sure that you're staying on top of those things and doing some things to try to push the envelope and taking the next logical step in what you're trying to do. And then success and nothing less. So this is John Wooden. Love a lot of what John Wooden does and says in his coaching pyramid and all that kind of stuff, but ultimately just trying to be successful. And there are plenty of people that can go win a race and not be successful in other ways. And Wooden would have games where they would win by 25, and he would be upset with how their team executed. And say that they weren't successful, and they had, didn't happen very often, but games that they lost, where he would come into the locker room and say, I feel like we just were outplayed today, and ultimately we were successful, and we did everything that we needed to do, and we played to the best of our ability, and so just trying to be successful on a daily basis and really trying to put your best foot forward and once again having that hard hat and showing up and doing what you can on the day with what you have, and doing the best that you can. Uh, just talking a little bit about leadership. So on poor teams, captains are led by popularity. On great teams, captains lead by example. They arrive early, stay late, train hard, apply the same high standards off the field. And so once again, that comes back to the who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are the dynamic leaders on the team? Um, and what direction are they taking the team? And um, are we just trying to be the cool people on the team, and it has nothing to do with actually working hard and achieving goals, because it takes what it takes to be successful. And a lot of times, uh, people who want to be the cool people don't truly know what it takes to achieve at a really high level. So excuses make today easy, but they make tomorrow hard. Discipline makes today hard, but makes tomorrow easy. And so once again, just doing the little things, doing them at the best of your ability, kind of setting the tone for each and every day and what you're trying to get out of it. And not taking the easy way out just because you're not feeling it on that particular day. Because the reality is you might not be feeling it on the day of conference or the day of regionals or the day of nationals. And you got to find a way. You got to find a way to do it. And in building that mental muscle and that mental discipline, that's when that truly comes shining through, either positive or negative. Um, All right, so past team goals, just we'll get into for our team talking about the culture and what we want to do and how we want to do it, and so some of the things that they've talked about in the past and kind of building on that. So this kind of can lead into our goal setting sessions and some of that kind of stuff as well. And then getting into recruiting, and so culture is such a huge piece, and including that as part of the recruiting can be really, really important. And you recruit people that are like you. Um, and so it starts with me, it starts with our staff, but ultimately having the team know and understand what the message and having them speak the same language and having them share what it's like to be coached by me, to be coached by our staff, to be part of our program, to be at our institution, so on and so forth. And just some of the feedback and so having them help as tour guides, hosting kids, helping find kids if you have teammates that you're in touch with, but really trying to take ownership in that recruiting, and helping build the team into what it can be. If we feel that we're giving a really great experience, then we need to try to share that to get others and share why our experience is better than them going to someplace else. So what is expected from our athletes is I want feedback, positive or negative. They'll hear a lot more than we will, making sure that they're at lunch or dinner, introducing themselves as they're walking around campus, and once again sharing culture. So that's the end. As I said, this is a fairly quick one. Once again, I hope you're enjoying these. I hope these are worthwhile. I definitely appreciate the listens. Please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. The comments have been very much appreciated as well. But that is what I got for now. Hopefully, we'll have some content from camp. I know I'm doing at least one talk, and hopefully we'll be able to incorporate some of that into some of the stuff coming up here. But until next time, talk to you later.